You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Friday, May 2nd. Wayne, you like how I'm like nailing the intro again now that I'm done with the prospect interviews, so I don't have another intro that's throwing me off. We all the way back because the draft is over now. But Wayne, how you doing, man?
I'm tired. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you know, it's
grinding the tape.
It's been a grind. This has been probably the best grind. You've done a tremendous job. And I can't wait to get into it next year. And I'm thinking of just trying to how to be more efficient next year, add a little different, pizzazz and stuff like that, and continue to bring great content. But I'm so glad the draft is over. I'm so glad there's no more mock drafts for at least 6 months, right? I mean, there's the early mock drafts, but I'm happy, but I'm glad that this process is over, and I can't wait till May to where rookie minicamp kicks off.
Yes, we've got plenty to talk about in this offseason. And today, Wayne, we got a couple things. We'll touch on some draft topics. Of course, the title of this video is former 49ers GM weighs in on the 49ers draft pick. So we'll talk about that. But first, Wayne, this came through our desk just this morning, right? That apparently the 49ers got an offer for George Kittle, a second-round pick. Diana Rossini has it all. Here's what she had to say.
I know there was a team that had a conversation with the 49ers the night before the draft about a possible trade for Kittle, a second rounder they were looking to get in return.
Oh, what?
They turned it down. The 49ers decided to keep him and really move this situation forward by getting a deal done. But there was a little interest there, some poking around.
Why didn't they move him? The second round pick for a 32-year-old tight end, that seems like a really good return on investment, no?
I don't think the 49ers ever wanted to walk away from George Kittle either. I don't think George Kittle wanted to walk away from the 49ers. I think they've always wanted to be together. Everyone just wanted to feel like they were winning in the negotiation.
Could you imagine Kittle not a 49er? It doesn't make sense.
It absolutely does not make sense, right, Wayne? If he weren't a 49er, I mean, that would just be crazy. I'm not surprised that teams were interested and throwing some offers out there, but come on, the 49ers, I don't think we're ever going to make that deal.
I agree, but I am intrigued about that second round pick. Now, when you say second round pick, now if the offer was, third or less, it's a hell no. And it was a hell no to the second round pick too. But I might have enticed that second round pick. I mean, we talk about second round pick, another top 100 player. I mean, it would change, in my opinion, if the Niners did go with it. It would have changed the offense completely because you don't have, like, George Kittle is he's one of one. Yeah. You can't compare him to any other tight end in the National Football League now or past or in the future. Like, he is one of one. Like, the things that he does, I just feel like no one else can do. Yeah, there's other pass catching tight ends out there. Yeah, there's other blocking tight ends, but to be able to do it at an elite level, an all pro level, almost year in and year out, that's pretty astonishing in my opinion. So I'm with you. I wouldn't have entertained it, but dang, what team was willing to give up a second round pick? Because I don't know. There was some top talent in this draft that they could have got at second round, and they probably would have reached for a player anyway, and it wouldn't have been who we wanted. So at the end of the day, I'm glad that they didn't do this.
I'm glad they didn't. And, I always go back to, well, a second round pick, while that is enticing, right? Any draft pick, you think about it a little bit. But that pick is an unknown. It depends who you grab. It's no guarantee that player is going to be an actual good return on investment as George Kittle, a known commodity and a damn good one at that. Just for exercise, Wayne, let's go back and see who the 49ers have picked in the second round since 2017. When 2018, they got Dante Pettis, 2019, Deebo Samuel, 2021, Aaron Banks, 2022, Drake Jackson, 2024, Bernardo Green, and this past year, Alfred Collins. there's some misses there. A lot of those, like Debo, Banks, you got good service out of them. Ronaldo Green looks good. But there's been some, misses in that too. So again, to go back to, there's no guarantee. I would have really hated if this team traded George Kittle just to end up with a possible miss down the line. Like this regime couldn't have lived that down. So I'm glad they got this deal done with Kittle, and he's going to be probably getting on that 10-year wall for the team. So
absolutely, man. And it's well deserved. And congratulations to George Kittle. Congratulations to the 49ers for keeping the relationship going. And you know what? I mean, George Kittle is probably the longest tenured draft pick of the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken, because you got to go back
at this point,
to 2017. Yeah, like for that's what I mean. For this regime, you got to go back to 2017. He's the only one left. I mean, Trent Taylor's still here, but he doesn't have that role. Like, he doesn't have a prominent role like George Kittle. But it's great. It's great to see these guys really finding ways to get it done. And I really want George Kittle to get that championship trophy before he walks off into the sunset. We tried it with Joe Staley, didn't work out. I really hope George Kittle definitely gets a Lombardi added to his Hall of Fame career.
Hall of Fame career. Yeah, I know. I've seen some discussions about whether Kittle should go to the Hall of Fame, and his career isn't even done yet, but I think the answer is yes. And Wayne, I'm sure
several all pros, whether it's first team or second team, several Pro Bowls. The only thing missing is that Super Bowl. He gets that Super Bowl, is automatic, in my opinion.
It is automatic, but there's been plenty of Hall of Famers who've never won a Super Bowl, and
agreed,
deserving of it. So yes, we'd love to see that for Kittle, and of course, hopefully with the 49ers, right? It seems that way. He's under contract now with his extension. But Wayne, let's get to the topic of the day. So Scot McCloughan, former 49ers GM from 2005 to 2009, and wasn't that long that he was a GM of the Niners. But the reason that I think a lot of 49er fans kind of, he's held to a certain degree of respect, I think, amongst 49er fans, and maybe I think within the NFL community as well, because during his tenure as the 49ers GM, he had a number of, big hits, like Joe Staley, Justin Smith, just to name a couple of them. So we respect his opinion. Every year he has this piece with Matt Barrows on The Athletic, Frank Gore as well. Yeah. He has a piece on The Athletic, Matt Barrows, that, he asks McCloughan what he thinks of the 49ers draft picks for the last couple years. And so he weighed in on this year's draft class, and there are some interesting things. Now, Wayne, I don't forget the fact that when the 49ers selected Cam Latu, he was high on that pick. So, just take all of this, I guess, with a grain of salt. It's just some person's opinion, but he does scout players for a living. So we'll start off with what he had to say about Mykel Williams. He did start off by saying he had Mykel Williams ranked as his number 2 defensive end in this year's class, behind Abdul Carter. So it was Abdul Carter for him, and then Mykel Williams. I think that's pretty high praise. And he says, quote, "I like him a lot. He's a no-nonsense player. He's been on really good defenses, and he was one of the better players on those really good defenses. He's been around a lot of big games, and he showed up. Even if he's not a starter on day one, he's in the rotation no matter what." End quote.
Yeah. First, I want to say, when we're talking about Scott, he's usually more right than he is wrong.
Yeah.
And he's done it consistently right for several teams. 49ers got it right. Seattle Seahawks got it right. And Washington, whatever their name was at the time he was there. He would get them right. He's real. When you're talking about a GM that's able to scout talent like this, and he has a type. He has types.
Yes.
So let's just keep it a buck. Like, he likes these big guys. So it makes sense why he went with the edge rusher, the twitchy guy who's just overall like better than everybody in Abdul Carter. But when you're talking about edge setters with this type of body type, 6'5", big frame, could give you some speed off the edge, athletic as heck, crazy long arms. These are the things that Scot McCloughan loves, right? And that is what separates him. So I'm not surprised that he was his second defensive end. You know, if you want to keep it a buck, Steph, he also talked about Shamar Stewart, and that was like number 3 for him. And he had Mykel, and it said in the article, slightly ahead. And the Niners kind of were in on Shamar Stewart. The fans weren't, but the Niners were. So this guy, I think, really does know what he's talking about, whether he's drinking or not. He probably is better when he's drinking. Like, I feel like he gets it more right. Maybe he didn't take a drink, when he, But at this point, I like his insight. I like his feedback. Whether it's positive or negative, it's good to get it from a different perspective that really does scout talent very well. So this was spot on. Like, and I think he's the day one starter. So, and I'm not saying that because he was a first round pick. I'm saying on first down, and I'm trying to stop the run, I want the run edge setter, him and Nick Bosa out there at the same time. So I would think he's going to start day one. No disrespect to you, Tor.
I think so too. I think so too, because he's gonna be in on those base downs at the very least. Like, that's literally what you brought him in for, so he can help you out on this run D and setting the edge. So yeah, that's part of the reason, a big part of the reason why I was a big fan of the Mykel Williams pick as well. And yes, you're right. He did say he had Mykel slightly ahead of Shamar Stewart and defensive tackle Walter Nolan, who we also liked, especially on this show here.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think it bodes well that the 49ers...
He liked the talent of Walter Nolan, though. It stood out,
sure.
But he said the Niners could have went either way. That's crazy because... Never mind. It's just crazy. I think we're getting better at scouting talent for this team.
Because we kind of know what fits. Like, we're getting better at that, I think.
That's what I'm saying.
Knowing what kind of player. Yeah.
We're getting better.
For sure. And then, as far as the lack of production for Mykel Williams, like, McCloughan wasn't so worried about it. I mean, he said, quote, "Everybody says that, sacks. It doesn't matter. What matters most are disruptions. The quarterback runs out of the pocket because Williams gets back there and somebody else makes the sack, or he's throwing the ball away," end quote. So, and he's absolutely right. Like, even if he's not getting those sacks, he does create disruption. And yes, that is something, he can stand to get better at in his game. But I think there's a ton of upside there. Dude's only 20 years old. Like, he's going to figure it out, especially a defensive coordinator like Saleh, going to use him the right way. You got Nick Bosa, teaching you some things off to the side and during practice. Like, I think he's going to figure it out, but to me, he provides a high floor based on him having the run defense down. And then as far as his ability, his athleticism, he's going to be able to create some disruption as well.
I agree, but I slightly disagree. I do think sacks matter. And I'm not saying that just from his low production, but, in his one-on-ones, he's got to be able to win and get that sack. Anything can happen after the pressure. Okay, so like, we're watching quarterbacks this age get the ball out way quicker than they did during the era where he was a general manager. And I mean, they're literally getting the ball out 1.3 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Like, they're getting the ball out quick. So I do agree with the pressures, but for it just, and this was the older Niners team. Pressures, we were great in pressures. But the pressure still gave up third and longs. Like they still would give up first downs, and we couldn't finish. And so I slightly disagree. I think sacks matter. I think, though, Steph, that his physical attributes are different than any of the edge rushers. They're different. They're better than Nick Bosa's. I'm sorry. He's just built differently. Arm span, wingspan, arm length.
His arm length is crazy.
But I'm just saying, I feel like because of those physical attributes, it will produce better numbers and finishing in those sacks. It's all how we utilize him. He wasn't utilized at Georgia to be the sack master. They had speed guys that they wanted to get in there and rotate in there. That's where your Jalen Walkers came in and some of their other edge rushers, right? He was used to set the edge. I think the Niners do the same thing, but I believe in those edge and some of those one-on-ones, he's going to be a monster. He's going to be able to get finished, is what I'm trying to say.
And he was literally rotational.
He was rotational
at Georgia. That's
least
another
amount of snaps
the context as well. You add on the fact, he was playing injured for 2024. There's plenty of reason to believe that he could produce and create more sacks for himself. Here at the NFL level, maybe not right away in this season 2025, but again, I think at the very least he's going to be able to create some disruption right away. So I'm excited about this pick. I'm excited that Scott is excited about this pick. I'm excited, Wayne, that you're excited about the pick. We're all the way locked in on the 49ers first round pick, Mykel Williams. But he had some thoughts on the 49ers second round pick out of Texas, defensive tackle Alfred Collins. So Wayne, when we did our last show last week, we only knew about the Mykel Williams pick, and then we were getting ready for day 2. Alfred Collins, I don't know if you knew this. I think you did. I think I mentioned this, that he was one of my favorite defensive tackles to watch. So this is one I'm excited about. Sounds like Scott is as well. He said, quote, he's a tough guy, a run stopper. He's not going to ever be a good pass rusher, but he plays hard. He'll help them this year. I guarantee it. End quote.
Yeah, for sure. After day 2, I think I tweeted, the Niners, it's all about stopping the run this year. Right?
Yeah.
And when they drafted the big 6'6" guy, 332-pound kid, I'm like, okay, good luck trying to run up the middle. And then when they doubled down in round 4 to get CJ West, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. And we needed it though, because we were watching our guys up front get pushed back by offensive linemen just because they weren't strong enough or they didn't have the quick first step. Now, what Alfred Collins has is an explosive quick first step. That right there is what makes him makes him be able to get into the backfield so easily, right? And he's strong and he plays with a good pad level for his size. He's not playing up high. I think the first thing what turned me off from him, not turned me off, but what was my kind of question mark about him was, can he continue to keep his pad level consistently low, mid, not low, but mid, right? So can he keep it leveled, basically? Because I was a little nervous about that, because we've drafted a player that was 6'5", right, that 300 plus pounds, but his pad level was high all the time. And because of that, he couldn't really get off the way he needed to get off. I don't think we're going to have those problems with Alfred Collins because he has that get off. And I don't really care about the sacks from the interior. I want my edge rusher. I want my edges to run into those. I want the quarterback to run into those edges that are out there setting. So if the quarterback can't move left or right, I think he gets more sacks than what Scot McCloughan is thinking. I think the fact that the edge is set, I think these big guys up front, when they're out there, they're going to get their opportunities. Look at Evan Anderson. When the opportunity presented itself and the guy was right in front of him, he beat his guy one-on-one, and then boom, right to the quarterback. He wasn't a big sack guy, and he's an undrafted guy. So I'm not saying my expectations as a sack guy from Alfred Collins are they high? No, I'm not saying that. As long as he's stopping the run, it's the only thing I care, because on them 3rd and longs, he comes off the field. And now you put your speed guys out there, and this is where you can kind of get creative. So stop the run. That's the only thing that matters for the San Francisco 49ers. Force him into them 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 14s, 3rd and whatever, because he'll get you a tackle for a loss if these guys are trying to run up the middle. It's not happening.
That for sure. That was the priority for the 49ers to address the run defense. They did that. I feel like they think the pass rush prowess from both of these top 2 picks, that can come at a later time, or like we could rotate some of the guys that we already have on those passing down situations, right? So, and I'm not sure I agree with what Scott has to say here, that he'll never be a good pass rusher, Collins. Like, I don't know if I agree. I think it's never going to be the best part of his game. Like, that I do. That's for sure.
It's not what he was drafted for. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not what he was drafted for. But I think like we can come to a point where Alfred Collins will improve at being a pass rusher. And, it doesn't always have to turn into sacks. Like, he only had 7.5 sacks in his career. By the way, only a full-time starter in 2024. So there's that, in which he had 1 sack that season. But I think he'll be serviceable on those downs as well at some point, where you'll feel like, okay, like I could keep him out there. So again, it's not going to be the thing he's going to be known for, but based on everything else we see, like the explosive first step, Wayne, like you were saying, like his ability to shed blocks, like all those things, I think could.
That arm length is crazy. Another physical freak.
That's what I'm
his
saying.
Wingspan is greater than Mykel Williams. Not to cut you off, but his wingspan is literally greater. His arm length is literally greater. Yeah, you're not gonna go ahead and alligator arm this guy. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. And let's talk about that. 6 batted down passes his 2024 season.
Yeah.
6 of those. 6 of them. Who does that sound like? Somebody that we played against in 2 Super Bowls and a couple of times in the regular season, and we just couldn't beat that team. Sounds like Chris Jones. Now, Chris Jones is a much better pass rushing defensive tackle, all right? But that doesn't mean that Alfred Collins won't develop into that. That's what Chris Kosaric is for.
And even if he never develops and all he does is bat down passes with those 35-inch arms, hey.
I'm Gucci.
Hey. All good. All good. Yeah. So Alfred Collins, he was a fan of that pick, but it seemed like CJ West was one guy that he also really liked. And of course, 49ers drafted CJ West in the, was that the 4th round pick or
4th round pick?
Round pick. And so one thing that
4th round.
Okay.
113.
113. So one thing that McCloughan said was that he had CJ West rated as a 3rd rounder.
So did I. I had him. He was my 100th player in my top 100. So I had him as a 3rd rounder.
So in the 4th round, like that's
Steal.
value, right? Like
Steal.
that's great value. And he said, quote, "Is he a starter? Who knows? But he's the type of guy who's going to be around for a while, and you can't get rid of him." End quote. Like that's and him getting the comp to DJ Jones, not from McCloughan in this case, but just from a lot of different people, fans, NFL draft analysts, like that. Almost this description here even sounds like DJ Jones. Like I don't know if he's going to be a starter, but he's just someone you can't get rid of because he's so good at what he does that you just want to keep him on the field, and I think he's going to surprise some people in that same sense. And he's someone that in his college career improved every single year. And even jumping, what was it? Kent State, right? Is where he went before Indiana, his final season. Even jumping from, the
level.
Kent State to Indiana.
To Big Ten. To the Big Ten.
You still saw a growth and an improvement. So that says a lot.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't think – I would expect that, we could see some growth from him going into the NFL level as well, because it's something about his skill set and him improving on that gives me confidence that he's going to be someone who, you can't get rid of and he's going to be around for a while.
I agree. First of all, let me just be the first to say that the Niners, he might be the biggest dog out of this draft. We drafted some dogs, but as far as the level of dog, this is him. I call him Motor City because he plays with a relentless freaking motor, and I mean it doesn't turn off. And I don't care about his sacks. I don't care about his pressure rate. What I do know is he's going to win on that first step. He, to me, is the Braden Fisk of this year's draft.
Wow.
And if Braden Fisk wasn't a high sack leader coming out of Florida State, how did he lead the league in sacks as a rookie? please give me that, because this is what I like about CJ West. I'm not expecting him to be a starter. I don't want him to start. I feel like you got guys here, but as a rotational piece, you can say toodaloo to some of these guys that we feel are probably not going to be in the rotation this year. I don't know about Khalid Davis. I don't know what he's going to do to improve, but I can tell you right now, if there's a guy with a higher motor that doesn't have an injury history and that just knows how to be a dog up there on this roster, good luck taking him off the field. Good luck taking him off the field. CJ West is not my favorite pick, but he's definitely one of my faves for sure. We once he did, we saw the East West Shrine Bowl, but once he ran at the combine and then we were like, I know I was putting out information. Yo, CJ West is physical, he's athletic, and then you saw him perform at the combine. I'm like 4.95 for a 300
That's
plus.
crazy.
God dang! Bye, Kenneth Grant. Bye these guys, because this is the guy they needed, the twitchy guy up front. So they got the big run stuffer and the big guy, and then they got the twitchy run stuffer and this guy. But I think he might be one that wins those pressures up front.
He does have a little more, sack production than Alfred Collins. Again, like you do also have to take into account what we said about Collins. He was a first-year starter that final year.
Yeah, he'll be the 3 technique,
Texas,
CJ West. Yeah.
So that's what I want to get into now, Wayne, because one thing that McCloughan said was that he could envision a scenario that Collins and West are on the field at the same time, and West as the 3 technique, which I'm slightly surprised by, because I kind of figure his best spot would probably be the 1 tech. And I mean, he even said it, right? Like, he just loves to, punch centers and all that. And I love that for him. But yes, I think you want to get both of your draft, or all 3 of your draft picks, your early draft picks, in at the same time if you can. And so potentially we see a line of Nick Bosa, CJ West, Alfred Collins, and Mykel Williams on the field at the same time. That's going to be one of their rotations, right? Because, they like to have the different packages, but that's going to be at least one of them, Wayne. And so how do you see this fitting? So you see CJ West as a 3 tech, and then Alfred Collins is the 1?
Yeah, just from the size perspective, I want my twitchier guy playing at 3 tech. You know what I mean? And then the wild card up here from these young guys actually is Mykel Williams, and I would say Nick Bosa. Like, those are the guys, in my opinion, that could go inside, outside, inside, however you want to see it. More outside, but they can line up inside. That's why I said on those 3rd and longs, man, now you could put on Sam Okawanu. Like, he can come out there, play outside, inside, move Nick Bosa to the outside. I think this is a year we stunt, like crazy, because I feel like now you have that twitch and the speed and the strength to beat some of these guys one-on-ones when you make that X move. Guys that might be on the X might be guys, unfortunately, like Kevin Givens, Khalid Davis, Evan Anderson. I know he had a great rookie season.
No, not Evan, man.
I'm just saying, like, I know he had a great rookie season, but you went and drafted guys that I think are ahead of him coming out of college, is what I mean.
For sure.
He's definitely the pro. He made it, and I'm not saying, but practice squad. Like, some guy's gonna end up back on the practice squad, and Evan Anderson knows if he gets his shot, he'll be right where he needs to be. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. There are absolutely going to be some guys, left out of this. And, with some of the guys that you brought in, and 3 of those guys that you want to have involved right away, that you want to have improve your run defense. Yeah, there's going to be some odd men out. And that could be a couple of the guys listed on the right side here. And some of the names that Wayne just mentioned. So the competition is going to be fierce, but the 49ers are absolutely welcoming it, which I love that. That's going to make for a really fun, even just rookie camp will be fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast, right?
Mini camp, OTAs, all that, and training camp, it is going to be a blast. Like, I'm really excited for this defense and how it's shaping up. And
I like the fact that it's super young and it's fiery, right? So, like, it's energetic, it's fiery. And I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not taking shots at anybody. I just think the competition from these young pups to some of the guys that are veterans, to some of the guys that kind of like walked onto this team and made it. Like, it's going to be on point. Like, it's going to be on fire. I really do. And Kevin Givens to me is more of a pass rushing defensive tackle. He's not that run stuff. So like now, if he's here and he's healthy, right? Because he's coming off the injury. If he's healthy, this is a guy you could got it. He can come in and get you some sacks. He can come in and get you production on those third and longs. I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting to see what Saleh does. And don't forget, Saleh is not afraid to use a nickelback or a cornerback to blitz. So we might see some of that as well as we get into those guys that we drafted.
We're going to see way more creativity, Wayne, like way more. And that's what I'm excited for. Like, we're here talking about, CJ West, like lining up in one particular spot, Collins lining up in one particular spot. There's going to be times where some of those guys are going to be interchangeable, like Mykel Williams as well. We're probably going to see him lining up over the guards sometimes. Like, that's what I can't wait to see, just how Saleh uses all these different pieces at different times for different situations. That's what they were missing, like the last 1-2 years. It was just very stagnant. It was very static. The same thing over and over again. You just knew what you were going to get. So now switching some things up, I think, is going to be very beneficial for this team. As far as the 49ers draft picks and Scot McCloughan, what he had to say, like really he had only scouted those 3 players. He also did mention Isaiah Nair, who was the undrafted free agent wide receiver.
Yep.
And he kept it short on him. He said he's a pretty good player. He's got a chance. So that's pretty encouraging. And that's not the first time I've heard that, honestly. Actually, he had I think a little bit more to say about also Curtis Rourke, who I didn't have a slide for. Sorry, Curtis, but he does see how he fits the Kyle Shanahan offense, and he says he'll, quote, fit Shanahan's offense perfectly because he's a zone type. Oh, whoops, that is about James, the running back. On Curtis Rourke, he said, there are some qualities to him that intrigue me: intelligence, toughness, seeing the field, instincts. He's played a lot of games. What he lacks in athleticism and arm strength, he makes up in instincts. He's like Purdy, the same stuff. So you can see why Kyle would like Curtis Rourke.
Yeah, and it kind of hit me to why the Niners. At first, I was kind of like asking, so I had to go back and watch, the draft, and because I didn't watch the 6th round, I was working, so I missed the 6th round, and then I realized several quarterbacks went off the board in round 6, right? So your Kyle McCords and your Will Howards and those guys, they ended up going to, and the Niners didn't have a 6th round pick. So it kind of made sense why in the 7th round with their first pick, they went with the quarterback and Kyle McCord, because he was probably one that was definitely on their big board, and there was a run on quarterbacks. And so it made sense. Now, I don't know how they're going to I don't know what his health status is going to be coming into this year. I feel like he's going to be an NFI candidate, sort of kind of like Kalia Davis was when they drafted him. And this will be good for the Niners, because then the Niners can still get the full 4 years of him on his contract or whatever or whatnot come down the road, and the plan for the future continues. Like, right? And so, like, if he is built with the same stuff as Brock Purdy, that's great. The one thing I love about him is I call him an Iron Man. Why? Because his kid he played on an ACL tier for the whole season. It doesn't get any tougher than that, like, right? And on top of that, I don't think there's a quarterback that's more intelligent than him. And when I talk about Brock Purdy, what do I always mention about Brock Purdy? He might not be the most athletic, but no one has the processing that this kid has. His processing is elite. Hands down, elite. He knows where to get that ball, how to get it out quick, blah, 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 blah. Does he struggle still in certain areas when he sees certain coverages? Yeah, all quarterbacks are going to struggle at some point in their career, because that's what defenses get paid for. Make the quarterback struggle, right? Find a weakness, find a way to trick them, find a way to do this. But at the end of the day, I like what they're going to get out of Curtis Rourke when he gets the ability to play. And I think coming out, I mean, he's a draft pick. He's got to be better than Tanner Mordecai. And we didn't get to see Tanner Mordecai, but I remember Tanner being an undrafted guy. So draft pick over undrafted guy for me.
Yeah, I agree. This is probably the move that makes Mordecai the odd man out. And so the 49ers have a pretty strong quarterback room now with Purdy, Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And then if we figure Rourke So the talk right now is that he'll be cleared for training camp, right?
That's great then. But
Yeah,
that doesn't mean he still can't end up on the NFI because of the injury.
I know.
Right.
They'll do that. That's what I'm saying. Like
that's Kyle Shanahan.
That's what they do. They love to stash a guy for a year and then. But my concern with that, Wayne, is that he's already 25. So like he's one of the older.
He's a quarterback. Give me the.
But
he's
like a career backup. Like
for sure. But my point is, I give me the experienced guy. Give me the Tyler Suggs, the Bo Nixes. They've seen a lot. They've played a lot, so they've seen a lot, and that's probably why they're better in reacting and instincts because they've seen a lot. So I'm okay with the quarterback position being of the elderly age. Some of the other positions, but the quarterback position, I think that's okay, right? Because if he is a career backup, if he happens to be a career backup, at least you got a guy that's experienced and seen a lot of football and played a lot of football, opposed to a kid that didn't play a lot of football and you traded up to get him with, some first round picks.
He said elderly age. Like
I did. He's not old, but
you're acting like one of us suiting up out there.
yeah.
No. When you put it like that, I'm like, you know what? He's not that old. He's only 25. So, you're right about that. I think the age maybe matters less, and if anything, it's what has made him better as a quarterback. Just that experience. That's what made Brock Purdy as good as he is. I think so. Yeah, it should help for him. And then, I missed this one. My bad. McCloughan had something to say about the Oregon running back before the 49ers drafted Jordan James. So he had Jordan James rated as a third-round talent as well, which is, I think,
I
notable.
didn't, though, but that's
You
good.
didn't?
No, I had him in the 4th, 5th round, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and the 49ers took him in the 5th, so even that, like, if you had him
still
in the 4th,
value.
that's still good value. But, like, I think what surprises me about Jordan James and what I've seen some people say about him, because, like, I've mentioned this in other shows, too. Dane Brugler had him as his RB7, Wayne. I don't know if you saw that, but, like, I'm like...
Yeah, and the beast, yeah.
Wow, okay, that's really high. And then one of the, like, remarks that he has on him is that if he gets his opportunity, like, he's going to be a starter at some point, which I'm like, wow,
for sure.
Damn. I don't know if I see that for him, but I think there's some nice upside. And I think he described him very well with this one quote. He said, he's not great at anything, but he's good at everything. Like, I think that is exactly when watching him and just seeing some stats on him, I 100% agree on Jordan James that, like, he does all the, like, little things well, like the low key things. And I've said it, like, it's not the sexy things, but it's the things that you would want for a depth guy, especially to have, like pass pro, taking care of the football, being able to make guys miss, short yardage situations, red zone situations. I see him being the guy that's going to be able to have some success there. And he'll be a change up from what they have from McCaffrey, from what they have with Garendo. Like, he's different from those dudes. So I kind of saw him as, like, the Jordan Mason role replacement for this team. I think he fits even better to what, Kyle likes in his scheme.
Bingo. That's it. That Bobby Turner, he gets his Jordan Mason. Because remember, Mason wasn't a Bobby Turner pick. That wasn't a Bobby Turner wasn't at the time. It was Anthony Lynn. That was the guy Anthony Lynn was granted in that draft. Bobby Turner was taken kind of like a leave of absence at that moment. And as the stories went along, we saw Jordan Mason came and spoke out how him and Bobby Turner just really it didn't sound like they really got along. That's why it was hard for Mason to see the football field. And so Bobby probably, I don't know Kyle, but I'm sure Kyle respects Bobby Turner more than anyone on that team. And I feel like Bobby was like, listen, let's move Mason. If we can get something for him, I'll find another guy that can be that guy. So when you talk about Jordan James, there's a few things that stand out to me, and I kind of broke this down on my Patreon. But there's a few things that stand out to me. First of all, let's talk about that low contact balance that Jordan Mason ran with. So, like, if you're talking north and south, yeah, you got it. And he's good at it. He's good at the gap runs. But you know what he's better than Jordan Mason? The outside zone. So now he has the speed to get to the outside zone, so he can read those one-cut moves outside the tackle, cut back inside the tackle. He has that gift, so the vision is there. Also, I think he's a better pass protector than what Jordan Mason was. And so these aren't shots at Jordan Mason. This is just about how do you improve your room if you're going to address the running back position, and that's what Jordan James does. And as a pass catcher, he's a lot more reliable, and I don't know why Brock rarely. I mean, what's worse? What's a word that's worse than rarely, but not never, right? Occasionally, I think it's more than real. He never would throw the ball to Jordan Mason as a check down. Like, it was so rare. It was like super rare. Like, I'm like, bro, just give him the ball. And then when he started doing it, Jordan Mason would drop the pass. So I think that is where you're going to get better pass catching, being able to line him up, getting him into some mismatches. The speed, he has speed, so let's not act like he's slow. But I'm a running backs connoisseur. That's my thing, so I really do like this guy. I thought they were going to go with a bigger running back, like a Brashard Smith or a Devin Neal that still gave you kind of some of that same speed, still the pass catcher. I think one of the biggest knocks on Jordan James is his size, his football size, his height, and stuff like that. But you know what? He can work if he's a rotational piece. If Kyle and Bobby, please, if they rotate the backs, can you rotate the back? Can we please just rotate the back? I don't care if it's one every 7 downs. Like, rotate the back. You know, if he can crack this code. We watched Elijah Mitchell do it, and I feel like this is that replacement.
I've seen people say that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but you get the power of what Jordan Mason was able to do because he can run the gaps runs very well. It's super balanced, super even.
Yeah, and I was curious about the speed thing because you said you see Jordan James as like faster than Jordan Mason. He is just barely. So like Jordan Mason's 40 was 4.58. Jordan James 4.55. So slightly. And like, on tape, Wayne, like you don't see that top end speed from Jordan James. Like he's not going to be a home run hitter, which is
Isaac
okay.
for that. Yeah.
Exactly, which is okay because you have a guy.
You know who's not a home run hitter that we don't talk about? Christian McCaffrey.
I mean,
he doesn't have the top end speed, so and it's funny because I felt like he ran a 4.47, right? But after him making the moves up front, he usually gets caught by that last guy, which is so rare, so funny.
Yeah, I
he's
think
explosive, but top end. It's difference between top end speed.
Yeah, I agree. I think yes, he does top out, and sometimes he does get got.
I think it's because he does all the moves to get to that. Like, it's a juke here, juke here, juke here. That's energy.
Yeah, you're right. It's not really the speed that gets him, those long tutties. It's like him just making dudes miss somehow. But yeah, Jordan James has some of that ability as well, even if he doesn't always have the speed. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. You know who McCloughan compared him to was James Cook.
Yes, without the speed though.
Without the speed.
But I don't even think James Cook. Damn, I feel like that speed is not there either. I feel like his vision is there and the agility is there. And then once he makes that last person miss, he's able to kick into the top gear. So yeah, I get it because the way he burnt Jair Brown in the snow was ridiculous.
I forgot about that, Wayne. Come on now.
You saw top end speed on that one.
I was in a good mood.
My bad.
But no,
I like the rotation though. I like the depth. Excuse me, not rotation.
They all have something different to offer that you can use at different points.
The question and the home run hitter is Garindo. That's your home run hitter guy. If you get him to the out, if Garindo takes that step forward, Steph, and understanding his vision and the outside zone blocking scheme, he will get to and which he did. It started to look like he got better because he needed the reps. He just needed the reps. Man, that's your home run hitter guy.
And he needs to stay healthy too. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Good point.
He needs to stay
Great
healthy.
point.
So it was good. It was good that they got two backs out of this, cycle. They got, Jordan James, and then as the UDFA, they got Corey Kiner, who looks pretty nice as well. Talk about contact.
No, I like Corey Kiner.
That.
Now I like me some Corey. I had a 7th round grade on him, and somehow he went undrafted. That's what I mean. Like, it's going to be hard as nails for Kyle Shanahan to figure out this roster. I think he did himself a disservice because he got some dogs as undrafted. And thank God there's only 6 players, right? Like, it's not like a slew of players because the roster's kind of stacked. He's got to make some tough decisions. And I think Corey Kiner is going to come in here and try to win out a job. I know we got Israel Abanaconda here still, and
it is a lot of dudes.
It's a lot of dudes.
You're not wrong about that. There's a lot of dudes. The other day, I like put him up on the screen, and I was like, this is gonna be.
You want to talk about a bell? You want to talk about a strong guy? Golly, I feel like he could pull a tractor trailer.
But I think some of those guys are going to naturally weed themselves out because Okay, I don't want to put this on anyone. No, not skill wise, and I don't want to put this on anyone. But I think like we're gonna see an injury in camp, like that's just like inevitable, Like some of that's kind of gonna be decided for you in a sense.
I get what you're saying.
But this is what that running back room is shaping up to be right now. If I could just get this back up. All right, so we're looking at Christian McCaffrey. We've got Isaac Guerrero. We've got Jordan James, Patrick Taylor Jr., who I liked. I liked Patrick Taylor Jr. I think he was nice, but
I feel like
odd man out.
But that's so all right.
Man out.
So that's your Jordan James competition right there. So I feel like Patrick Taylor Jr. is definitely competing, or Jordan James is competing with the veteran for the rotational spot. I feel like Isaac Guerrero is like what you're hoping can pan out. He's your fastest guy, fastest running back, but he's also what keeps him is his size. Like, he's big. That's a big guy. He's like 6 feet or something like that, 6 something. So his size keeps him, and he's still able to get to that top speed. That's rare. So it's going to be hard to beat him out. But Corey Kiner, Israel Abanaconda, another vet, Israel, like, and he has the speed too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you got your 3 like top guys that you want, and I'm just assuming Jordan James going to be that guy.
I feel like he's got to be that guy.
So you got your 3 guys that do like everything kind of different. So that's your rotation right there. Yeah. And then you got like almost the direct replacement to each
let's
of
play
those.
the game,
McCaffrey. Not really McCaffrey. There's no one-to-one of McCaffrey. That's a
no. He's one of a kind too, right?
But as far as Guerrero, your 1-to-1 is
Israel.
Yep. And then Jordan James,
Patrick Taylor. And then Corey Kiner is going to try to push somebody down. Look, you and I understand the politics behind it too, right? Mm-hmm. You can have, if I'm not mistaken, 10 of your practice squad players could be veterans. I see 2 veterans on this list. Mm-hmm. Patrick Taylor Jr., Israel Abanaconda. So there's a possibility those 2 guys end up on the practice squad, and then you keep a rookie on the practice squad. Like, if you can get Corey Kiner on the practice squad, that's good. You know what I mean? So that's 3 guys. And then when those inevitable things happen, you know what I'm saying, then you got the stable to call a guy up.
Yep. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be a really fun off season, I think, and hopefully none of these guys get poached. If they're
that's true.
That happens every year, Wayne. Every year. But this team is not as deep as it used to be, where I don't think teams are going to be like, oh, let's see who the 49ers cut this year. Like, it might not be as bad as some previous years, especially on the defensive side. If they end up cutting some of those guys,
right?
I don't think there's going to be teams clamoring to see who they let go.
That's
on
a good
the defensive
point.
Side. So we'll see how they play it this year. But Wayne, one final thing that I wanted to go over today is, well, actually, before I get into that, just give me what was your favorite pick of this draft? Because I didn't ask.
Oh, it was Upton Stout for me. I like this.
A lot of that.
I like the short, rangy, heavy hitter, big heart thumper. Like that's what you're gonna get. And I know there's a lot of comparisons to KY Williams with the size, his ability to play in the nickel back, but it's his versatility that makes him stand out. I mean, his kid is not he doesn't just play nickel back. Like his kid plays safety. He can play deep. He can play in a box, and he doesn't miss tackles. How about? I mean, he doesn't miss a lot of tackles. Is what I'm trying to say. Everybody has a missed tackle, but he doesn't miss tackles. It's rare. He's a tackler. He's a finisher. And he has speed. And this is one of those blitzes like that I miss the K1 blitz. I didn't even call it a nickel blitz. I called it a shark blitz. The 49ers got them a new shark. We can call him Baby Shark or something like that until he, until he earns his shark fins.
And then every time we sing the song.
Yeah, do. That's right. I forgot. Now it's gonna be in my head for the rest of the day. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, like I'm getting way more into the Upton Stout pick. Not that I wasn't even in on it to begin with, but like I have my show with Weston on Monday and I asked him the same thing. Who's your favorite? He said Upton Stout. Then I have my show Tuesday with Ryan Roberts. He's an NFL draft analyst. He said his favorite was Upton Stout. And I'm like, okay, then like the 49ers got a dog. And I watched it myself as well. And like you see that. All the things that people use to describe him, you see it on the tape. It flashes right away, which is my favorite thing. Wayne, like we talk about how watching film can sometimes be boring, right? Because you know why it's boring sometimes? Because sometimes you got to wait a while before you see a highlight play. I didn't have to wait very long when I watched Upton Stout.
Nah,
he was flying all over the place.
Listen, if you love Jahdae Barron, like this is I'm not saying he's the great value version of Jahdae Barron, but he didn't go to a big school like Texas, but he produced like Jahdae Barron. You get what I'm saying? And so remember, we were kind of like every now and then we would mock him to the Niners, Jahdae Barron, whatever, and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, if we don't get Jahdae, who's that next guy that can do the same things, that can be that versatile piece for Robert Saleh's defense? Is Upton Stout. And I think the versatility and the consistency being versatile is what sells it for me. This kid is he's very, very, very cognitive out there on the football field. This kid knows what's going on.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And like, mindset is a huge part of it. It's like, if you don't have the size, you better have something else that's going to like put you over the top. And for that, it's his mindset. It's a mindset thing. It's the speed that he has. Like you talk about the mental aspect of it too. Like just, how he's keyed in on all these plays, football IQ, he's got that. He's going to be a fan favorite, I think, for a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, last topic. This one's kind of fun, Wayne. So, you've heard about this rivalries thing, right? So the Nike is doing this new thing called rivalries. The 49ers are going to be one of the first teams to debut this rivalry thing, which is pretty much it's a new look, alternate uniform that NFL is partnering with Nike to do, and it's basically going to highlight iconic division matchups with custom uniforms and like fan gear. So we're gonna get some new merch out of it. And so in this first season, it's gonna be NFC West and AFC East teams.
Okay.
We're gonna do it. So 49ers are of course in that mix. And here's what I've read on it. Each team's new uniform is rooted in the spirit and identity of its local community, capturing what makes its city and its fan base truly unique.
Okay.
So we've seen this before, right? That's basically NBA City Edition jerseys, and that's basically MLB City Connect. Like, so the NFL is bringing that to the NFL, or Nike's bringing that to the NFL, and it's going to be called rivalries. So that's the equivalent to it.
I like it.
I like it, right? Like, so it could be good.
I'm all for different looks, different fits. I mean, the world is still trendy. It's still fashionable. It shouldn't change the way these players play. But I'm all for it. I know we're going to have to spend more money because we're going to fall in love. So I'm a huge NBA, huge Celtics fan. And every year the city jersey, I don't
You
get
like
any of
them?
the I don't get any of the regular jerseys. I just get the city editions because they're editions,
different.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like they're different. They're not the regulars. So I would grab it. I would grab one from one of the players from the team every year, and don't wear it. It's just more like a collectible because it's different.
Okay, yeah.
But I do like it, and I think the NFL, it's about time, because I think the NFL is the biggest sports conglomerate in the world.
Yes.
Bigger than MLB, bigger than NBA, hands down. And I think when fans start seeing players wear these rivalry jerseys, obviously he's going to make the NFL some money, and hopefully the players some money. Like, right? But
Yes.
I like different looks. I mean, I liked when we had the all black jerseys at one point. Like, I don't know why we went away from those either, but I like different uniforms, different looks.
You know why we went away from those, Wayne? It's because most people hated them, and
I don't
you
get
could barely,
why, though.
you could
Is it because
barely
our
read
team
the
sucked?
letters.
Oh,
No, you could. I think that was the biggest issue, is like you couldn't really read the letters. So if they ever did a black jersey, it would have to either be different color letters because it was red, or if you stick with the red, you'd have to have like some like stroke
Outline.
around it, or
Yeah.
like a drop shadow so that it's easier to read. Because people have done black uniforms. Like, that's not a new thing. It's just that the 49ers, like, it was just very hard to read the name and the numbers. So it just kind of clashed a little bit. But,
gotcha.
the NBA has done it the longest. And, the Warriors have a ton of different, city jerseys throughout the years. And I think the Giants, having done it for the last couple of years, that's a good example of one that's really awesome. Like, their first City Connect jerseys were cool as hell, simple, but it incorporated the city in a good way. And then the second one is like, you're trying to do too much. So through which the Warriors have kind of fallen into that a couple of times as well, I think. So when you try to do too much, that's when it gets kind of.
So I got a question, because I'm not going to lie. If the 49ers get a color segue of the Golden State colors, or that orange and black from the San Francisco Giants, that'd be fire.
That'd be pretty cool. But you know what, Wayne? I feel like they're already hinting at what this is going to
I kind of saw
possibly be.
the
So,
first
like,
mock.
if you, you did?
Yeah, it's like it's an all white. It's like, it's dope. It's dope. Not gonna lie, it's dope. I don't know if it's real, but I heard this was their first mock for it. So it's an all white. Not like the regular white. It's like a
like
cream
an
color
off-white.
white, like an
Yeah.
off-white, yeah,
So I can see that. So, okay, looking
with black, like
I'm
the
following
black,
some
black in it.
clues. I'm
Mhm.
following some clues. So this is their Instagram page, and so they've updated like a lot of their branding, which I think, of course, that branding is going to go hand in hand with these uniforms, I think.
Okay.
So what you're seeing is the logo, the SF logo without the oval. So it's just the logo. I think we might see some red helmets. That's my thing. Maybe red helmets with just the decal of no oval, just the SF. And you see, even in this example here, that's an off-white.
Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna text you what I got.
All right, so what do you think of this, Wayne? If it was red helmet and you get like the off-white cream jerseys, like that would be clean.
Like cream with like, I kind of like
be
what I
clean.
see, but I think keep the red minimal.
So
Like, what? Check your phone and
All right.
tell me what you think of that.
Where is my phone?
That's a good point. That's a good question. Like, yeah.
I was like, I don't even know where my phone's at. I don't have it on me. But they're also doing this, Wayne. Like
Ooh.
they're seeing, like,
The
I'm seeing
tickets?
a lot of the. That's what it looks like, right?
It looks
like
like
it looks
a ticket.
like a ticket.
And then it's cream,
There's
right?
cream and
It's
the
the
red.
cream. Cash rules everything around me.
So they're
Here,
they're
I'll
doing
send
that
it to
a
your
lot.
Twitter,
If
because
you-
you're
if
on
you
Twitter
have-
right now.
Yeah, I am. And then I don't know what this is, but they got this little like corner design going to. I don't know if you guys could see that.
Oh, I see you following the clues.
I'm so into this. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, what are they trying to do?
It
And
does
then-
look like they're going with a cream color, like a creamsicle color,
Cream, yeah.
with a splash of red.
And then you're seeing, like I said, like this little kind of like
Maybe some black trim. Yeah,
some like little
yeah.
ticket
That's the black
looking
trim,
sort
right?
of-
With the gold trim.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Mhm. So they're dropping hints, all right? So if you guys think you can figure out the the hints, which by the way, they said they were going to it's going to be debuted shortly after the schedule release. So I wonder if they'll work it into the schedule release, honestly.
They might. They may, but I think they're going to let the schedule. I can't wait till we start talking about that. Like,
I know.
They might. They may. I just sent it to you. I thought I had sent it. I never clicked send. But they may not. I think they give it. I think they let the schedule release be its own thing and then hit you like 2 days later because the schedule release on a Thursday, right?
Okay, that's clean. Do you want me to share it?
Yeah, you can share it. I mean, it's clean. It's clean. It's cleaner than clean, but it's not white clean. Like it's clean though.
I like the white, black.
It's old school too. Like it's nostalgic.
For sure. It's old school.
Like the black number on the sleeve. And
yeah, that's cool. I like that.
But I think they need to put a red strip down the line of the pants. There needs
to be something red, yeah.
Yeah, like some more red has to be in there. Maybe a red strip instead of that gold strip in the helmet, or do the gold strip with red on the slash of the side. You know
this is hella funny. Like, who's
that? Look like Debo, right?
Debo. This is like ChatGPT Debo right here.
It looked like Debo from Madden. That's what it looked like.
No, that's cool. That's cool though. I can't wait to see what these jerseys look like. So yeah, wanted to end today's show. Just a little fun topic there, but I had a lot of fun as always, Wayne. You know, breaking down some of the 49ers draft picks, what Scot McCloughan had to say, talking about Kittle possibly being traded, but we're glad that did not happen. But Wayne, same time, same place next week, right?
Let's do it. And we'll be previewing. I guess we'll be previewing who we think we're going to play. I think the rumors will be out by then. Like, right? Like, who are we playing? When are we playing? Primetime games. That's that following week. It's coming that upcoming week.
Another thing, next week is when rookie minicamp starts. We're going to see that as well. We're going to start to see some things around that. So make sure you guys keep it locked. Make sure you like this video if you haven't yet. Appreciate everyone that tuned in, everyone in the live chat. Make sure you subscribe if you have not yet. Not just my channel, but Wayne's as well. We put out some great content all this off season. There's a bunch of draft content you guys could look back on as well if you're into that sort of thing. Hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Audio listeners, leave a rating, leave a review. But for now, folks, have a good rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Peace.